let's do some examples now after our first introductory video. So suppose actually I have something written as y is less than or equal to 3x. Well, now if I want, I could subtract 3x from both sides, and I'll get minus 3x plus y is less than or equal to 0. So I can either write it that way or that way. Either one will be fine. But what I notice is when I use my technique and I say, well, let's let x equal 0, well, if I do that, then really either one of these, when I do the equality, you know, if I have minus 3 times 0 plus y, 3 times 0 plus, that's a plus, y equals 0, well, then I see that y equals 0. And so I get the point 0, 0, and if I were to do the same thing with y, right, y equals 0, well, that means that I get minus 3x equals 0, but that means x equals 0. I get the point 0, 0, right? So that's a bit of a problem, except, well, it's not that big a deal. I recognize that if I need to plot y equal 3x, I can do that. That's just a proportional relationship. We've done that before. Here's x, here's y. It goes through the origin, and for instance, if that's 1, then that's 3, and that's my point right there, 1, 3. Now the hard part though is, you know, with the when it doesn't go through the origin, a nice point to check to see which side to shade in is 0, 0. Well, here I don't have 0, 0 because it's actually on the line. It's equal. But, you know, I could just take this line, this point or any other point. You know, over here I could take 0, 1 or 0, 3. So suppose I check the point 0, 3. And so that's y equals 0, x equals 3. And remember that I have 0, oops, well, it was y, or I've got y less than or equal to 3x. So I have 3 less than or equal to 3 times 0, which is 0. Well, that's not true. Okay, so I don't want this side over here. I want to shade in this side. And just to check, you know, I can try 1, 0, for instance, which was the point right in there. And when I check that point, I get 0 is less than or equal to 3 times 1, which is 3. And yes, that's true. And so I have successfully plotted that inequality. So now, you know, example 2, you could have a greater than or equal to, that's fine. You know, suppose I have a 3x minus y is greater than or equal to 2, just to make it a little easier. Again, you know, what I want to do is I'll let x equals 0, in which case I get minus y equals 2, so y equals negative 2. So there's 1 point. Okay, so that's 0 and negative 2, so that's down here somewhere. There's negative 2. And then I could also try y equals 0, in which case I'll get 3x equals 2, x equals 2/3. So if y is 0, x equals 2/3, we'll put that right there at 2/3. And so there's my line. And again, you know, the nice part is it doesn't go through 0, 0, so I'll just check 0, 0, and if I put in 3 times 0 minus 0 and ask, is that greater than or equal to 2? Well, I get 0 greater than or equal to 2. Oh, no, not true. And so that side can't be right. And there is my inequality. Okay, so there are a couple more examples as to how we can graph. So example 1 and then example 2, how we can graph these inequalities. So not not too bad. Again, if they're in this general form here, you know, where we put the x and the y both on the same side, we can use this nice technique of letting x equal 0, y equals 0, getting points that way, and then just connecting the dots with our straight line. So there you go. There are a couple more examples of drawing straight lines and then inequalities in this more general